You know what? You guys are unbelievable. It's a ridiculous question, Mark. You should know better.
Center on Super Bowl Sunday, the Illini get the victory today over Purdue, 54-49. And joining us now, Illini head coach Nancy Fahey. And time to celebrate, Coach. You had to be pleased with your team's effort this afternoon.
Yeah, I think we did a great job, especially down the stretch. There were some key shots and key free throws, especially the free throws. Aaliyah Nye hitting that big three. And then Kennedi Myles and Ruben hitting those free throws were clutch.
Well, you look at the free throws, a big difference. You only sent Purdue to the free throw line one time today. Your team, 11 of 12. You mentioned the shots they made down the stretch. What was the difference defensively? That 2-3 zone, they couldn't master it pretty much the whole game.
We committed to that. Coach Skeet had the scout on that, and she came back to me and she said, she feels really strong. We had a couple of zone situations we were going to potentially throw at them. And we just stuck with it. It's like it's not baseball where you're going to hold somebody scoreless. So we were really pleased keeping people off the line because that's been a problem for us.
Well, you shook up the starting lineup a little bit. Erica Porter, Aaliyah Nye getting the start. They didn't score early, but the team got off to a good start, 8-0 start. Do you feel that they provided maybe the spark, or that something happened differently at the beginning of the game today?
Yeah, we had a good start, and I was proud of that. I think that it's the layers. Sometimes, even Jeanae coming off the bench gave us huge sparks that maybe we needed. That was, if you start well and then you're bringing different combinations. A lot of times it's, I'll be honest, I know starting is important to players, and I respect that, but we're really searching for combinations that could be successful throughout the game, and that's really important.
Well, talk about the play of Jeanae Terry once again, 15 points. A good job on the boards with 8, some assists as well. And then Kennedi, I thought that second half played well as well and hit those big free throws, ended up with 14 points. 2 of your sophomores, they seem like upperclassmen. It's hard to believe they're just sophomores, but they were certainly leaders today.
Yeah, and I think the defensive stops we had during the stretch and the rebounds, you can look at their points. Terry had 7 boards. And Kennedi had 9. And I tell you what, Purdue's big. And if you don't box the initial time, it's going to be a tough board. So them just really digging in and getting us a lot of boards, important on the stretch. Obviously, your points, but I got a shout out for those defensive efforts on the boards.
Well, Kiana Traylor had a big first half, 12 points for them, just 2 points in the second half. What were you able to do defensively to keep her from scoring?
When they were made their run there, we weren't getting back and sorting very well in our 2-3, and I felt like we let those guys get free. We addressed that when we get back. Sometimes you can't go to the spot that you want to be in a 2-3 zone, so that we get those coverages, because we knew that they would trail in, and there were a lot of those in transition. So we had to settle down and play better transition D.
What does this win do for the Illini? It's only one win, obviously, but you've got a chance to kind of build some momentum here. And I don't know how much you know about history, but the wins over Purdue throughout time, it's been tough to come by. So it's a big win for your program. And how do you use this to kind of use it as a springboard?
Well, you tell your kids to fight every day. You tell them to come back to work. You tell them all those things. And I told them after the game that if they had chosen just to kind of, it's February, where are we going? We don't have to give quite as much. Why do this? We wouldn't be in the position we are. Sitting after these games and going back to work the next day takes a certain amount of grit, takes a certain amount of pride, and they've done that. And they, to be in that locker room and celebrate, not celebrate what we did in specific, but celebrate a win is definitely something we needed, and hopefully we can use that as we move forward to Minnesota.
Well, take time to celebrate, because certainly we got a game coming up on Wednesday, but obviously good feeling from today, and congratulations on the victory.
Thanks.
That was Illini head coach.
All right, Claire and Rob, thanks for your patience, guys. Really appreciate it. Claire, we'll open it up to you for questions first, and then Rob, I'll have you go after Claire.
Good afternoon, Nancy. Can you hear me?
Yes, Claire, Ken.
Good. I'm wearing a mask, so I just want to make sure. But my first question for you this afternoon is, I know Mike kind of asked you about it already, but what was it like to get your first Big Ten win and your first win over Purdue in your coaching career at Illinois?
Really, really, really good, and more importantly, really, really proud of the team. That's, as coaches, what you want is you want that celebration and all that work to be paid off with some smiles. And I was just happy for our team.
Yeah. And then in the second quarter, it was kind of tough. What did you say to the team at halftime to kind of build some momentum going into the second half of the game?
Their press bothered us a little bit. We sorted that out. Also, just getting into our zone offense, that was contributing. And we also had some adjustments we made on our 2-3 zone. They were hitting a lot of corner shots, and we had to basically bump down quicker, and that was the adjustment we made.
Yeah. And Traylor almost got her season average. She's averaging 13.9 points per game, and she had 12 in the second quarter. So how did you slow her down in the second half and hold her to 2 points?
We got it into a half-court game versus a transition game. She's a good shooter. Some days those go in, some days they don't. But when you have someone running at you and it's in a 5-on-5, there's more pressure. When games get out of hand a little bit, if you ever notice, people shoot really, really well because the pressure's gone. Tonight, because it was closer, both teams had to hit pressure shots.
Yeah. And my last big question for you is Aaliyah Nye's three-pointer gave the Illini the lead in the closing minutes of the game. What has it been like to watch her development this season?
How big was that? How big was that for a freshman to pull the three in the corner? We were running something. She had an open look. I love the confidence. Her upside every time, that she comes on the court, I'm excited for her future. But man, I tell you that's I called her. I said that he had a lot of ice in her veins when she took that shot, and I was really proud of her. But that's because she shoots the ball, puts the practice in.
Yeah. And my very last question for you: do you have any other thoughts on the game overall?
No, I'm just happy. How about that?
Thanks, Nancy.
Thanks, Claire. Rob, we'll go to you whenever you're ready.
Well, Nancy, I think you pretty much covered it there. Sort of wanted to know where on the spectrum of emotion between relief and glee, what did you feel when Aaliyah's shot dropped?
Relief. I at the time, because this game was still going on, I just knew it was a big shot that if we got ahead, that was going to be crucial for our psyche. If that, it's like we've been in 3 close games, 2 with Nebraska and Penn State, and that one shot that needs you to get you ahead and have the confidence. I was more like, okay, now we got the lead. Now we can playing a different type of more relaxed game versus feeling that pressure. I mean, a lot of those huddles were like, breathe. Hey, let's breathe. We were trying to today not get overly excited and overly down, because sometimes when you're trying to break this what we were in, you can sense your win, and if you get too excited, you really can't execute down the stretch.
Because Aaliyah missed so much time, have you thought about how the season might have been different if so many of your players who missed time, how it would have unfolded, how their personal growth would have been different?
The whole missing of the non-conference and then just jumping into basically a Big Ten schedule with players and having those injuries. Do you think about that? Of course. Could you have seen a different development, a little bit more patient, where you're not having to put all these kids in such stressful situations and trying to win a Big Ten. And I mean, we can't listen to social media, but in a way that's negative for us. So, that pressure they're feeling. So yeah, I wish it was, but I'm finding the more people you talk to, there's a lot of stories like that in basketball right now. And our choice was to keep fighting, and our choice is to keep playing. And I'm proud of that, if that makes sense. So.
Yeah. Do you recall a game in your career or in the history of basketball where a team got so massively out-rebounded and won?
And won? I had to look at that, and I was like, typically that would not be the case. You hit that right on the head. In my career, probably not. Looking at that, they're tall. They're a big team. So, and we did our best to keep them off. You can't yell at, sometimes you just can't yell at a kid for being 4 inches smaller.
Right. Okay. That's it from me. Thanks. Congratulations.
Hey guys, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. So Claire, whenever you're ready, Jeanae, we're going to start with questions from Claire O'Brien. Okay.
Good afternoon, Jeanae. It's Claire O'Brien from the Daily Illini. What are your thoughts overall on the game today?
We're all excited, definitely, to get that win, especially being at home, to get that one Big Ten win that we've been waiting on. I feel like everybody played their role today. From the first player off the bench to the last player off the bench, everybody played and did what they needed to do for us to get this win. So like I said, we feel really good on what we accomplished today.
Yeah, and you led the team with 15 points today. What was that like?
It credit to my teammates again. They keep me in the right spot. They know how to get me the ball when I need it. So I just take my points as a team collective because I know that I can't do it alone. And so those 15 points is just something that like I said, that I'm taking from the team and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you guys got your first Big Ten win today. What was that kind of like?
Amazing. We all work so hard on a daily basis, every day in practice. And so just to get this Big Ten win after everything going on, we're just really excited, really ready to go back in the gym tomorrow, practice together and take on the next Big Ten person.
Yeah. And my last question, do you have any other thoughts about the game?
No, I'm just really excited to get this win and celebrate with my teammates.
Yeah, thanks, Jeanae. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hey, Jeanae, would you, I don't want to assume that Aaliyah's three-pointer was the moment that you knew that you were going to win. What, if there was a moment, and it wasn't that, what was the moment when you knew you were going to win?
That was a huge shot for us. That was an incredible shot, especially by her being a freshman, stepping up to the plate and making that shot for us. That was another exciting moment that we had. I feel like those two big free throws from Eva Rubin and also from Kennedi Myles was a moment that I sat on that line and knew that we were going to win that game. So I think there were a lot of impressive moments by a lot of people on this team that I felt like, okay, we really got this. We can really play with these guys. And so like that shot was, like I said, just amazing. A great feeling to watch it go in from her. And you know.
Okay. Sort of messy game, a lot of turnovers from both teams.
Mm-hmm.
Would you talk about the trying to keep it together versus the press with all of the disorganization on the floor?
Yeah, we did. Both teams did have a lot of turnovers throughout the game. And so we just wanted to stay collective. We on this team, we really think about the next after that. So if we do turn it over, we want to, if it's getting back on defense, if it's making them turn the ball over again, we just knew that we were going to have plays where sometimes we might turn the ball over, but we knew that we didn't want that to be the thing that stopped us from executing what we needed to do.
All right. Thanks. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. Next, we'll go to questions for Kennedi Myles. Claire, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Rob after that.
Sounds good. Good afternoon, Kennedi. Congratulations on the win. I had a couple of questions about that. What was it like to get your first Big Ten win today? Kennedi, you're muted.
Oh, okay, there we go. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
It feels great, but at the same time, we have to know this is one win out of multiple other games that we still have left. So it just shows that we can do it and that we will do it. And just every day after this, we just got to keep working.
Yeah. And you had 6 points in the first quarter and the team was off to a really good start. Can you kind of take me through that?
Yeah, I most definitely say it's because they weren't pressing in the beginning. So we were getting the ball out in transition, running the floor, running our lanes. And we were able to get a lot of easy touches. Once they started pressing, obviously that's when those easy touches started to fall off.
Yeah. And then can you take me through the fourth quarter? You had 2 free throws to kind of seal up the game. Can you kind of take me through what was going through your mind during that moment?
I just told myself I'm going to make them. Just saying these are going in. Just having confidence throughout the whole shot because I mean, that's all I could really do. My form, my shot is going to be the same regardless, but just having the confidence that even though it's a crunch time, these are just free throws, they're going to go in.
Yeah. And then my last question, do you have any other thoughts about the game today?
No, I'm good. That's it.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Kennedi.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Claire. We'll go to you, Rob, whenever you're ready.
Kennedy, building on what you said about your mindset standing at the free throw line, this is kind of a muscle memory thing. This is why you practice for thousands of hours in the gym. When you look back afterward, do you realize all that hard work and how it pays off?
Yeah, most definitely. I would say I think everybody when they go up to the free throw line, even when they're practicing, it's like think about it like these are the game-winning shots. So I mean, I guess like having that mentality when I'm just shooting free throws on my own and just thinking like every free throw matters and just having that confidence is what allowed me to make them.
Would you talk about the battle on the inside and Purdue got a whole lot of rebounds. What was it like battling with them?
Yeah, I mean they were big inside, bigger than us, and we haven't really faced a lot of people that are bigger than us. Saying with Eva Rubin down in the post, but we got out rebound, we got out muscled down there. And that's just something that we have to go back to the next day, tomorrow, thinking about that, because that's really where they would have killed us if we look back at the game and say we would have lost. That's where our weakest point was. So we just can't have that be our weakest point next game.
And yet you did win. And how is it that you maintain your composure when you're having a constant, when you're losing the interior battle and you're being constantly reminded of that throughout the game? How do you hold it together?
Yeah, it happened defensively. So offensively, we just couldn't let our defense, stimulate what we do on offense. So even though we weren't defensively getting those stops and those rebounds that we needed, we took our time on offense to get the flow of what we had going on and just staying composed.
All right. Congratulations. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Aaliyah. It's Claire Bryant from the Daily Illini. Congratulations on the win. What was it like to hit the three-pointer that sealed up the game?
I think just hitting that shot in practice and just practicing it over and over when I'm shooting in the gym, I just had the confidence that I could knock it down. And I just didn't think about it. I just shot it.
Yeah. And then what was it like to get your first Big Ten win of your collegiate career at Illinois?
It feels great. I mean, I just love it so much. The energy, like the smiles that you see on my teammates' faces is just so worth it.
Yeah. And then do you have any thoughts overall on the game?
No, I don't.
Yeah. Thanks, Aaliyah.
Thanks.
Aaliyah, how difficult was it for you to spend all that time out while you were injured and then bring it to the point where you're winning a Big Ten game?
I think it's just while I was sitting out, I just tried to work on my conditioning and stay conditioned while riding the bike and just staying focused in practice, because I know it's hard to just doze off in practice when you're not playing, but I just tried to stay focused and see what mistakes we were making and try not to make them when I get back.
All right. Thank you. Congratulations. Thanks, Danny.
Thanks, Aaliyah. And Claire and Rob, thanks for jumping on today.
Yep. Thanks, Danny.
Bye.